Anna Mariah Wilson was from Vermont, a 25-year-old professional cyclist known to her friends as Mo. She specialized in gravel and mountain races, started riding young, and quickly made a name for herself. She was passionate about the sport, competing in countless events and meeting many along the way, including one well-known rider, Colin Strickland. Their first encounter came via the gravel racing circuit in the fall of 2021, when Strickland and his girlfriend were briefly separated. They had a short relationship, but a few months later, Strickland reconciled with his girlfriend, Caitlin Armstrong. After that, he continued to stay in touch with Mo, described by him as friendly. Armstrong was a yoga instructor. She knew about Strickland's past with Mo, and grew increasingly sensitive and uneasy about it. That marked the moment. Jealousy and resentment began to take hold in Armstrong's mind. May 11, 2022. Mo arrived in Austin, staying at her friend Caitlin Cash's home. That evening, she went swimming with Strickland, then had dinner together. At 8:36 p.m., Mo entered the door code and returned home. It would be the last time she was seen alive. At 9:15, a neighbor's doorbell camera captured 3 gunshots. When Cash returned home, she found the door unlocked. Inside the bathroom, she found Mo lying on the floor and immediately called the police.
My friend is staying with me, and I just walked in, and she's laying on the bathroom floor, and there's blood everywhere. And I don't know what happened.
This was what officers saw when they arrived.
Austin Police!
Do I stop?
What?
I don't know what happened. I just walked in on her.
Sit up.
The scene showed no sign of forced entry and no evidence of struggle. The investigation began with surveillance footage. On a neighbor's camera, a black Jeep Grand Cherokee was seen on the same street both before and after the crime. Police traced the plate, registered to a woman named Caitlin Armstrong. She was Strickland's girlfriend. To the police, she was just a new name on the list. But behind that name, the true direction of the case began to emerge. On May 12th, police brought Caitlin Armstrong in for questioning. After tracing the vehicle to her, she denied involvement. But because a birth date was entered incorrectly on the warrant, the detention became invalid, and she was released. Fate hesitated, letting her walk away from the edge of the abyss. Days later, police obtained a search warrant and found a pistol inside her home. Testing confirmed the shell casings from the scene matched that gun. By then, Armstrong had already vanished. No one knew where she went, until investigators retraced her steps. They learned she had recently sold her Jeep, the same vehicle seen near the crime scene. And at the same time, both her passport and her sister's were missing. Investigators began to suspect Armstrong was planning to flee. After checking with multiple agencies, the news came back. Armstrong had already left the country. She had used her sister's passport to buy a ticket out of the U.S., flying first to New York, then to Costa Rica. From that moment on, she disappeared completely from the map. The investigation soon hit a wall. According to intelligence, Armstrong was likely hiding in a small Costa Rican village, Santa Teresa. U.S. Marshals Damon Fernandez and Amir Perez were sent there to track her down. Santa Teresa, a place full of hostels and travelers. Finding one woman there was nearly impossible. For days they searched, but found nothing. Then, they decided to try one last time.
We decided we were going to put an ad out for a yoga instructor and see what would happen.
After nearly a week of waiting, nothing happened. The agents were about to return home when something changed. A woman claiming to be a yoga teacher asked to meet them at a local hostel. The agents entered, posing as travelers. When they met face to face, They almost didn't recognize her. She had cut her hair short, dyed it dark, and had undergone nose surgery. But those eyes, the agents knew immediately. It was her. 43 days on the run ended that day. Afterward, she was extradited back to the United States and taken into custody. Armstrong's life seemed to swing between control and madness. On October 11, 2023, her name once again made headlines. Armstrong was being escorted for a medical examination. Midway, she suddenly broke into a run, trying to climb a fence and escape. The escorting officers gave chase. 10 minutes later, she was caught about a kilometer from the facility. Strickland's secrecy and detachment led two women to believe two different versions of the truth. One thought she was betrayed. The other thought it didn't matter. After reuniting with Armstrong, he kept in touch with Mo under the label of friends. To hide it, he even changed her contact name and deleted their messages.
You're with one girl, and then you go over there, and she's gonna get pissed off. That's the reality, right? And so that's why you changed her name in there, because you were nervous that she would get pissed off. Because any normal girl that's been with somebody for years is gonna be pissed off if they're talking to somebody else.
Mo, as Strickland's friend, was caught in a cruel triangle she never asked for. November 16, 2023. The verdict came down. Armstrong was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to 90 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 30. During sentencing, she lowered her head and said nothing. Strickland walked free, unscathed, the only one left standing outside the storm. In court, Mo's mother spoke. There was no anger, only the emptiness left by loss. Then her friend Cash turned toward the defendant, speaking with restraint but sharp emotion. The cycling community founded a memorial organization in her name and now holds the annual Ride for Mo. One life ended in the prime of her season, another will fade inside a lifetime sentence. None of it was worth it, because it all began with one irresponsible man. Night falls again over the streets of Austin. The roads are empty, leaving only the quiet remembrance of those who loved her. This is Mugfile. We document truth and silence. See you next time.